When you buy Coke plastic, and if there is no substitute for keeping it to a safe, you realize that they will put it in the gutter, they will put it on the floor, and it becomes dirty.
The plastic is good. Two people cannot use the plastic. Only one person can use the plastic and throw it away. But the glass, you use it, they take it back and go and fill it again.
If you have water in a container with phthalates for some time, it leaches into the water. So if you drink just one bottle of water, that means in a year you will ingest about 50,000 particles.
When it comes to the way we dispose of plastic waste, we don't separate it from the other waste materials. So recycling it becomes a problem, and you go through a lot of cycles to separate them.
The plastic is very simple to take it everywhere. You can use it to travel safe, but the glass, you cannot use the glass to travel.
James, a trader at Adabaka, telling me his preference between plastic and glass bottles. He tells me plastic bottles are safe for him than glass bottles.
The plastic is good. You see, the plastic, two people cannot use the plastic. Only one person can use the plastic and throw it away. But the glass, you use it, they take it back and go and fill it again. So it will give an infection to people, you understand. But the plastic, you can even throw it away.
David, an entrepreneur, shares this reasoning of the plastic bottle being healthier than the glass bottle.
I like plastic because of the health issue attached to the plastic. The advice given to us on the radio, so it has gone into our mind that preferably plastic is better. If you handle plastic bottle, it can just fall down and then everything's scattered. But for plastic, you can take it back.
But it is not everybody that shares this reasoning. Sam is a regular patron at the popular restaurant in the capital city, Accra. He says, with his knowledge of the negative health implications of plastic bottles, he prefers glass bottles.
When it comes to the way we dispose of plastic waste, we don't separate it from the other waste materials. So recycling it becomes a problem, and you go through a lot of cycles to separate them, and cost-wise it's high. So comparing the two, I think bottle will do.
Surprisingly, I came across more people who are alert to the health impact of plastic bottles and are therefore choosing glass bottles.
The main reason why I prefer the glass bottles is that whenever you buy, let's take it for instance, with soda, Coke, and mineral and other stuffs, where they are ready to take the breakable bottles from you. But when it comes to the plastic, when you buy Coke plastic, you take it along, and if there is no substitute for keeping it to a safe, you realize that they will put it in a gutter, they will put it on the floor, and it becomes dirty. You understand? So when it comes to the bottle aspect and the plastic aspect, I think I like the bottle aspect.
So if today there is a ban that let's not produce any plastic bottled product, you would flow with it?
I'll flow with it because probably I believe some years to come we are going to realize it's going to help us in terms of keeping the city clean. It's going to help the nation very well.
For me, I prefer the glass bottles. You know, with the plastic bottles, it has become a big challenge, and you see that a lot of plastics on the street. You see a lot of plastics on the street, but it is very difficult to see glass on the streets. Yeah, so I will go for the glass bottle.
So how is this impacting the decision of restaurant operators? Isaac Lai is a supervisor at Champion Dishes at Dabraka. He says people consider the easy handling of the bottles they choose.
Maybe the person wants to take it out or something, or want to take it home. The person cannot, most of the glass bottles you cannot take it out, but with the plastic ones you can take it out. Yeah, but most of the people who come to Champion Dishes, so they prefer the plastic bottle because most of them, what they say is that the plastic bottle is easily to handle. And with that one you can take it out, but for the glass bottles, when you need to drink it and then leave the bottle here.
To him, some people also do consider the health impact of the two before choosing.
You know, the plastic one, when it's easy, after taking the drink, you dispose the bottle. You need to put it in the bin or something. But with the glass one, what most of them have in mind is that with the glass one, after taking in the drink, it will be sent to the company. The bottles will be sent to the company, and then maybe they need to go through a process of cleaning. Yeah, they need to clean it and stuff before they can refill and then cover it again. But with the plastic one, now after they've taken the drink, they will dispose it. They have to put it in the bin, and then after everything, you have to put it in the bin. Then when they put it in the bin, with that one, it will be disposed into. They will throw it away or something, or it will be taken to a recycle place for them to. Yeah.
Our penchant for everything plastic, including water, has given the country a huge headache in terms of managing it. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, plastic pollution is a global problem. Approximately 7 billion of the 9.2 billion tons of plastic produced from 1950 to 2017 became plastic waste, ending up in landfills or dumped. So what do researchers say? Professor Christopher Gordon, a professor at the Environmental Studies at the University of Ghana, says research has shown that people ingest plastic particles from drinking water in a plastic bottle.
Recent study looked at bottled water in about 9 different countries, and they looked at around 260 samples, and they found that there was an average of about 325 pieces of microplastic per liter. So if you drink just one bottle of water, the 500 mils, that means in a year you will ingest about 50,000 particles. Now the particles are of different sizes and they have different impacts. So they range from the size of a human hair to the size of a red blood cell in your blood, the one you have to use a microscope to see. And if you have something around the size of 20 microns, a micron is, let's say, 1,000th of a millimeter. So it's very, very small. It can actually pass through your blood vessels into your organs. So it will end up in your liver, it will end up in your kidney, and if you don't excrete through the urine, it will accumulate in your body.
He explained, a recent study conducted showed that plastic bottles release some amount of particles into their contents, and that affects the health of consumers negatively.
There are chemicals, as I said. They are called phthalates, and they are used to harden the plastic. And we know that if you have water in a container with phthalates for some time, it leaches into the water. This is also made worse by exposure to higher temperature. So if you have something which is in the sun over a long period of time, you find that there's more migration of the chemicals from the plastic containing water into the water. But that is not the worst case. One of our students at the Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies has just done a study looking at the inks they use on the pure water sachets. And he has found that the inks they use contain some substances which also migrate through the plastic into the water. So depending on how they are printed on the water sachet, how long the water sachet has been kept in terms of temperature, duration, and whatever, again, you're getting an additional source of chemicals above and beyond the phthalates going into the water. So these are all, as I say, major problems, and you have to go to the root cause. What is the driver? When I was growing up, when we wanted water, we went to the tap. You took your glass or your container, you fetch water from the tap, and you drank it. You go for a meeting, there'll be glasses arranged on the table, there'll be a jug of water. If you're lucky, they put 1-2 ice blocks in it. You pour and you drink.
Professor Gordon says there's the need for the nation to reduce the amount of plastics brought into the system.
If you have something around the size of 20 microns, a micron is, let's say, 1,000th of a millimeter. So it's very, very small. It can actually pass through your blood vessels into your organs. So it will end up in your liver, it will end up in your kidney, and if you don't excrete through the urine, it will accumulate in your body. Now, and we have the particles not only in the water, not only in the soil, not only in the food, but even in the air that we breathe. So you can say that chronic exposure over 10 years may give you this. 20 years will give you this. 30 years will give you that. 50 years will give you this. We don't have the timeline to know where we are going to end up. And this is why it is so important that we as a nation try to reduce the amount of plastic we put in our environment.
The plastic menace is far-reaching. From the streets to the seashore, plastic pollution is evident in Ghana.
Year in, year out, government spends money to manage waste generation. But on a daily basis, waste is generated above the capacity of the country to manage. And that in environments such as this, waste, especially plastic waste, is seen loitering around on a daily basis.
The United Nations Environment Programme states that in every minute, the equivalent of 1 garbage truck of plastic is dumped into our ocean. On our shores, the extent of the pollution is scary. One of such shores is the Korle seashore. Here, I meet Henry, a young man who has lived here for the past 5 years.
Has it always been like this?
Yes, always like this, sometimes more than this. Sometimes more than this, because always they have been putting things in the river, and the river and the sea join here. So the sea has been going inside the river, and the river also has been coming inside the sea. So when the sea go inside the river, when it's coming, they come with the rubbish that they put inside the gutters. All the gutters mouth, they inside the river. So it will come, especially Konkoma. Everything that they have been doing, they have been putting it inside the river over there. So when it comes here, or rain falls, when rain falls, all the gutter comes here. Then we push it to here, then all will come here.
According to him, he picks materials such as plastics and car tires from the shore.
Me like this, I've been taking the bottles and the cans, and they have been weighing it. 1 kilo is 70 pesos. So sometimes when you get a lot of kilo, like 500 kilo, 60 kilo, 70 kilo is something that you can use to do something, money. And it's not only one. It brought charcoal. Bring small charcoal. So when you have basket or bucket, you can pick charcoal. And you can pick firewood, like this firewoods over there. I pick it. And this tie, it bring the ties. And I've been picking it. So see, when the ties make plenty, a car will come there, 3 ties, and I'll be selling it for them.
Henry tells me the plastic pollution on the shore is a huge problem.
When you clean it now, by say 10 to 15 hours, it will come back again. The sea will bring a lot. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem. Yeah, it's a big problem. And sometimes it's plenty that you can't even walk there.
The impact of this pollution goes beyond the people living close. Professor Chris Gordon tells me the fish you ate yesterday could contain some plastic particles, which will impact your health negatively.
And all of these are single-use plastics, which then end up in the environment. And even if they don't choke the gutters, causing the flood problem, they break down into microplastics and then even further into nanoplastics. Now, we did a recent study about a year and a half ago, where we looked at microplastics in the environment along beaches, but we also looked at microplastic in fish. And we decided to select those fish that swim in the waters. They call them pelagic fish. So they're not the ones that are on the bottom, because the plastic, when it breaks down, it looks very much like zooplankton. Plankton is what the fish usually feed on. And we found some of our anchovies and the Keta schoolboys, the sardinellas, with over 100 pieces of those microplastics in the stomach. Now, unfortunately, these are fish that we don't gut. We dry them, we smoke them, we grind them to make shito, and we consume it all. So as you're sitting there, I can guarantee that if you're a kinky eating man, you have at least 1 million microplastic in your body. And these are going into your liver, going to your heart, going into your brain, going to your testes, your testicles. They're all over your body right now. We're all walking microplastic containers now.
Plastic pollution is also causing flooding in many communities. One of such is Odona. I meet Dako, who has lived here for the past 20 years. He narrates how flooding has caused much mayhem here.
We want to be got and got over to me. You do a good say, I know, son. I say, Pia, I be and say, Pia, be good before Baba's son. Let you say, as soon as I turn a car, can you answer the boom? They had the influence as some of the hard a few say to me, room, Cosrocra. Yeah, no problem. Betting my man's hard in the back. They use out their car to him funny.
He says plastics is a major cause of flooding in this area.
And also, count what was no. If you are if you say in the name Gatanim, the bar down say, me who sank a day in day out to Yimua, you tell Yimua, Kibia, is soon a young committee as to good caucus. But I said, if you are to me chance and mobile, that won't be usual before I'm by use. My best say, you know, not a check. Those are not Sabi Guman son of my. Me, I'm betting you know, with Roberts, you know, a good. You prevent so some mamma ya oh you grab it to me be best 2-3 weeks answer that's not my best sir on my best na just so you na san ka gwa yin jaduma mo ya na just aduma hunu.
For Dako, stringent measures must be put in place to check the plastic menace.
Plastic bottles no okay ya na obi wonu musu ana so oyi bibi na ode to ne ball mu a oye ya na ha mo no adwen bone ibu o mo nsu ne to sape na wahwie na me say ha ne yiri ni nti na wahwie de agu gotanim sɛ ebi ebetumi de akɔ but nso kɔ akɔtwoku na ma nsu yiri na ma aba ha sen ifi sɛ nka yade anka individual na ɛwɔ ha no yɛtumi yɛ ahonnie bi sa sɛ yɛnom nsu anaasɛ yɛyɛ yi na nka yɛde egu adeɛ mu na yɛkɔto gu bɔɔla so a ka mfa saa de ne ba because efiri soro na ewurawura yi mu saa ne ba mihunu sɛ ɛno ɛbaeɛ na ɛyɛ bɛtɛ ɛha dwene fa bi ɛbaeɛ ɛyɛ pa bɛtɛ ɛha dwene because ɔno a na ɛma nsuo fa yɛ wɔ ase no ɛno ka ho bi na ɛma nsuo fa yɛ wɔ ha.
The impact of plastic pollution on the environment has been devastating, but the question is, can we change our preference for plastics at all? Isaac, the supervisor at Champion Dishes, believes if people are made aware of the dangers of plastic bottles, they may change their preference.
Sure, I think most of the people they are unaware about that, but if they become aware about that most of the plastic bottles contain chemical, I'm sure they would go for the glass one more than the plastic one.
For Professor Gordon, we must go back to the use of glass bottles or possibly aluminium bottles to keep the situation under check.
So why don't we go the way we had before? Glass bottles. And the thing is that we have the sand that is suitable for making the glass bottles right here in Ghana at Abuaze. Meanwhile, we're importing plastic pellets. So it is about time that the young people of this country stood up and said, enough is enough. Let us find an alternative. Let us reject the sort of things that are going on.
Despite the education on the negative health implications of plastic bottles, people like James will always stick with it.
No. I don't prefer the glass. I still prefer the plastic. But because the plastic is very important. The plastic can go far. More than the bottle, more than the glass one.
Even though it's going to impact your health negatively, you'll still go for it?
No. It will not go negative place. It will go positive place. Yeah.
Clearly, there's a need for change. As to whether this will be influenced by policy, education, or by learning the hard way, only time will tell.